Hello and welcome to the now 25th episode of the Bunker to Bunker podcast. We are coming off of a pretty exciting couple weeks of golf in 2024. A lot of storylines that we're going to dive into. But yeah, firstly, I guess we can start off with the biggest storyline would be Tiger Woods and Nike splitting. After 27 years, Tiger Woods is no longer going to be representing the Nike swoosh. Um, Definitely a change in the golf world. Every golf company is jumping at the opportunity to re-sign him, but some could say you could see it coming with the likes of Jason Day dropping his Nike sponsorship as well, and potentially others may follow. So, yeah, Josh, let's hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, I guess it'll be weird. I don't think it's that shocking if you have followed what they're cutting costs by like $1 billion or something. So it's
Hmm.
surprising that they're letting go of Tiger, but not, but I think it's more surprising that like he's one of the athletes that they cut in this cutting of costs that we've seen in the economic world. I think a lot of people have been saying like, does Nike get out of golf? And they still have like 20 feet
Hmm.
now. I saw Brooks Koepka put like tees like some sort of shoe or something on his Instagram. So I don't think they're out of golf. I just think that they are not investing a lot into golf. You know, you have the likes of Peter Millar, you have Barstool's a competitor, honestly, which is very weird to
Hmm.
say. They probably would say the
Yeah.
same thing. You have good golf. You have Bob Does Sports. So you even have these like more of these creators who have more of a share, have more of a following and viewership than like a Nike Golf. So
Hmm.
I think they're probably taking a step back and investing in it. It's weird, a lot of, I mean, every iconic moment was with Nike, with Tiger, with the chip on the Masters on 16, and that commercial has come back in 2019. So um,
Hmm.
I feel like what is the next step for Tiger? I saw some weird odds, of like an offshore book of like what's the next brand that Tiger represents. I don't know if you have any predictions or any say on that. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit weird, but I think it's probably better for both sides, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. So I think it's going to go one of two ways. I think it's either going to be tailor-made, or I think he actually launches his own brand. I don't think you see anyone talking about that where I that could be a potential. I mean, just the Tiger name, the Tiger logo. I mean, that's $1 billion business once it gets up and starting. So, but it's interesting. It seems like a lot of, high profile athletes. You look at like a Roger Federer who was partnered with Nike for the vast majority of his career, making I think it was around 12 million annually. Then re-signed a new deal with Uniqlo for 300 some million plus equity in this other business of their sister company. So it's really interesting to see these like stalwart athletes just kind of deviate, and I think that's more so towards um, the when they sign these deals, there's a certain fixed rate, and that rate needs to be adjusted for inflation. So they're looking at, well, I'm getting, $10 million. In reality, I signed this back in 2010 or whatever. It should be 50 million. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see a lot more players kind of opt out of their contracts and renegotiate. And to second that, it wouldn't surprise me if you see players negotiate contracts that are of 5-year length and then, reevaluate everything and just try and get more money because, greed is everything at this point. So, yeah, I guess that's my prediction is TaylorMade or he starts his own golf brand, which would be pretty difficult given that, Nike had the, what's the word? Um, they had a claw on his image, his brand, pumping out, red clothes, the hats and all that. So I don't know. A little bit of a wild card
Yeah,
prediction there.
I mean, he he owns the TW logo,
He
so
does.
he has that. I don't know if he owns like the Frank Tiger, like the
Hmm.
Frank logo. I'm not really sure. Um, but I yeah, a lot of people are linking him to Grayson because of JT, but like that company will have to give up
Uh,
ownership of for like for Tiger. I don't.
yeah.
It's yeah. I think TaylorMade doesn't really do apparel. When I was trying to
Hmm.
use my TaylorMade like gift card, it was pretty hard to find something,
I still need to
and
use
there
that.
weren't
Yeah.
really any. Yeah, there weren't any apparel um
Hmm.
for really anything. So if they can like link with something, I guess like they would have to invest more in it. I forget who owns TaylorMade. I think a private equity firm owns TaylorMade, but
Probably.
yeah, it would be interesting to see. But yeah, I think it'd be cool if he started his own thing. Obviously, he has like the brand, so it's like if he starts it, like anyone is gonna buy it. It's just he
Hmm.
obviously has the billions of dollars to basically just start his own corporation, but it's a lot easier said than done, obviously. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. Next news point is speaking of Tiger. I forgot to put this on the sheet, but did you watch like the foreplay video with Tiger?
Yeah, I did. I actually loved it because outside of Riggs, Frankie and Trent were how 99.9% of Americans would be around Tiger. Absolutely just nervous as heck. And then you go out there and Frankie just absolutely pipes the 5 wood off the deck. And then, obviously I kind of broke the internet. I mean, everyone's reposting that Riggs lost a long drive contest with Tiger from his knees. But yeah, I mean, it kind of shows the power of a podcast. So maybe, 3, 5, 7 years down the line, that'll be us. One can hope, knock on wood. But yeah, that I think is obviously their best video they've ever put out, purely from the stardom. And I thought it was very entertaining.
Yeah, it's I was talking to my dad about this. He watched it with my youngest brother, Jack, and he was saying how it's like we were talking on the phone. He said like, I mean, I said it, but he along the lines of you know Tiger doesn't do this type of thing like maybe like 6, 7 years ago. Like he just doesn't. That's just not
Hmm.
like his personality. And now you have these days where I feel like ever since he came back. And I think like the JT and Fowlers of like the world kind of brought this youth energy out of him that kind
Hmm.
of helped him come back. And his personality was always you know didn't talk with anyone, even like whoever he like paired with on a Thursday, he didn't talk to. He was just all about golf and just the most competitive person. And now he's like doing these type of things, and you see his you know, other side, which is kind of the goal of these tailor-made shoots. I
Hmm.
think they said on their podcast that I think TaylorMade has Tiger from like 9 to 2 p.m. Like not even like the entire
Yeah.
day. So they like figured out like the 15 minutes, and so I think it's cool. They've done it for 7 years. I've been following probably since COVID, 2020, and so it's
Hmm.
still pretty cool. I know like Grant Horvat has like played golf with Tiger and played golf with Charlie. Maybe not golf with Tiger, but like has been to his house and stuff. But obviously nothing on
Hmm.
camera. Um, I don't know if you listen, but Frankie kind of credited Joe LaCava for a lot of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because he said that like he like texted Joey any tips, and apparently he hinted at Tiger, like texting Tiger to like give them, show them something, So,
Hmm.
so that'll be a very cool
Showing something.
video. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I that might have been that might have been his exact words, but it's cool. And then also we saw Tiger, and I think he was the Santa Claus of the Christmas themed per usual.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that was pretty cool. And then the last note is your boy Jon Rahm's new LIV Golf team name is Legion 13 in Roman numerals or Legion 13 Golf Club that I saw on Twitter. Thoughts? You're the Rom backer. I'll hand the baton to you. And what are your thoughts on this team name and his new teammate?
Um, it was a layup to make it a Spanish name, and we're kind of pivoting to Roman numerals. I mean, El Toro would have been a lot better in my eyes if you're talking about, trying to sell merchandise or trying to sell stuff like that. That's a lot better of a name than Legion 13. But yeah, I mean, it goes back to my overall opinion on Live. I don't have an outstanding opinion of specific things that go on in the tour, just because I have no interest in either of it. So good for him, yay. I don't know. There's not much that's kind of out there. Yeah, not much from me.
Yeah, that's when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, it's a cool name, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's nothing crazy in my eyes.
yeah, I mean, it's not like he had like I don't know. I haven't seen like a picture or anything of like a logo. I just
Mhm,
saw, golf like the golf Twitter people just say this name. So I guess it's like, hopefully it's like a cool logo, cool design or something. But definitely
mhm,
of note that Ramen Fisher has his name and Kieran Vincent won
mhm.
or got a spot and lived through the qualifying round and now is joining Jon Rahm, who I haven't heard of. Hopefully he's a decent player, I guess.
Yeah,
So he's joining this team, and there are two spots for Tony Finau and Charles Hatton if they want to join. So the door the
yeah.
the door is still open for those who rumored that they were going to go. Um, Speaking of, I forgot to put this in. I just think of news now of the apparel. Lululemon is with
Yeah,
Minwoo Lee.
they
Uh,
are.
Very
Yeah.
smart of them to
Hmm.
get into the space with the high quality of their stuff. And Minwoo is just one of one on the tour.
Sure, he is.
Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think I think he might be someone that I might have to try like a golf shirt. Definitely, I feel like they'll definitely get into like the jogger game of
Mm.
uh of it all.
Yeah. Hey, it's a great combination. The clothing looks good on him, so works out.
Before we go into the recap, I know this is outdated, but what did you think of the Jersey Jerry hole in one since you're a Steelers fan?
Yeah, big day for us today with the playoff game tonight, by the way, recording this Monday morning after being moved from Sunday. Just get the presumptive loss over with in the season, but you never know. Anyway, the Jersey Jerry thing is really cool because it was kind of surprising at how united the internet became over someone's quest towards a virtual simulator hole in one on Pebble Beach. I think it was it 2,627? I think was the exact number. Something along
Something,
those
yeah.
lines. And just seeing everyone go. I mean, from golfers, football players to like just everyone just absolutely going nuts over this. I mean, didn't he get a sponsorship with like Marie Collanders or something? Because he said he's still eating frozen dinners after it, and there's now like it's just the entire internet broke because of it, which is it just shows the power not only of Barstool but of if you put out content that people want to see, you'll get good results from it. So I don't know. I thought it was a funny watch. I think I could do it in less swings, but maybe we'll have to try it out in the future.
Do you think it's harder? I was trying to debate, not anyone, just like internally. Like, do you think it's easier on a simulator or like if you're outside?
Mm-mm. Outside. For the sole reason that simulators won't account for yeah, they'll account for the spin of the golf ball or stuff like that. But you also got to realize that how the predictability of a ball landing on the green and spinning exactly how it was spinning in the air is not high. Talking about there's so many factors that happen outside that I actually think that it would be a lot more simpler of a process if you had the same yardage and everything versus in a simulator where they're trying to predict what happens. So you're just kind of hitting a shot that the computer wants to see, not actually what would go in. So I think it'd be, I wouldn't say significantly, but easier in person by far.
Yeah, I think it's in person. I mean, Good did their own live stream yesterday. They're out in California. They actually filmed with Minwoo, but they did their own live stream. I think they're at like a par three course, and they just like went to every hole and hit like a certain amount of shots or something.
Hmm.
I just skipped to like the end because it was like a 3.5 hour video, but Garrett made it, and he basically at the end was just saying how he was just hitting like a low like burner, like just hitting a low shot and just trying to like skip it up there, and like he like eventually got it. Um,
Hmm.
Obviously, comparing handicaps with Garrett Clark and Jersey Jerry is probably like 25 shots, maybe even more.
Yeah,
I think Garrett
probably more.
plays to like a like I mean like a plus or plus three, I guess, or minus three, like whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
he like starts basically 3 under if you play him in a
Hmm.
match, and Jerry's
Hmm.
probably like a 30. So um, that was some golf news. Uh, Anything else on the news front?
No, no, I think, no, I think that's it.
All right, let's recap a exciting Sunday for two tournaments. Let's start with the having the bigger name. We had Tommy Fleetwood take down Rory McIlroy in the Dubai Invitational, and it was headlined by Rory on 17, three putting from around 4 feet, and then not a duck hook, but hooking it left into the water on 18,
Mhm.
setting up for Tommy Fleetwood to basically be handed um, this Dubai Invitational tournament. Uh, what did you see the highlights? What were your kind of thoughts on this theatrics down the line of these, you know, last two holes?
Yeah. Well, the driver on 18, not so much a Rory thing, but the three putt from, I think it was 2 feet actually, is the definition of a Rory McIlroy thing. No one else in the world does it like he does when it comes to these short little putts. You always are nervous when he has these 2 3 footers because you more times than not there's always an issue. So I don't want to say it was it was obviously surprising given the magnitude of the moment, but we've seen it before in previous tournaments, not necessarily choking away as much as he did, but we've seen these kind of putting yips. You never like to say that word, but seen it before, and that's kind of if you want to critique one thing in Roy's game, it'll forever be the putter, and especially that range. So it got him again. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just it just happens. I feel like people
Hmm.
overblown it. I mean, I feel like Spieth is now known for the short putters misses, but he's been that his entire career. Like he's one of the best long
Hmm.
putter, like certain distance. You can look at like the stats, but um, he's better at those like long distances than the short putts. And we saw Kevin Kisner was like Jordan just putt it, stop overthinking it, and then he
Hmm.
missed it on air. So yeah, it was honestly surprising. It's really any professional golfer, even us.
Hmm.
If we three putt from two
Yeah.
feet, like you're like surprised. It's not like so. I don't think it matters of like who it is. It's like the odds are that
Hmm.
you're gonna make it. Um,
Yeah.
I think what's ironic of this whole situation is that on the podcast Rory went on, um, he said that he's changing his prep for the Masters, essentially just playing more meaningful tournaments leading into
Hmm.
the Masters, because I think his team, or when they sat down, kind of go over, I guess, to recap the year, what they want to do differently. He said that he plays his best golf between like May and August, or maybe like June and August, September, and it's because he plays all these tournaments and builds up to it. So I think he's going to be playing probably more of these like smaller tournaments going into the Masters. I know he played Valero 2 years ago to kind of prep for the Masters. I think he missed the cut. And I only know that because I picked him in my one and done pool, and I didn't really know how to do a one and done pool. I picked him at Valero, Texas Open, and he missed the cut. Another story,
Yeah.
but so he's like in these tournaments prepping for the Masters, and then just chokes away one. So I think that's a little ironic on
Yeah. Yeah.
talking Rory and Masters.
hmm Maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year. You never know. One would hope, but
Yeah. All right. Well, we have the Sony Open, which also was a thrilling win. I unfortunately didn't watch this live, but Grayson Murray, who was
hmm
the longest of long shots, wins the Sony Open. He takes down Benny On and Keegan Bradley in a playoff. He sank a 35-foot birdie putt, went nuts
39, I think.
on the
No,
18th on 9.
I think it's
No,
39.
I think. No, okay. And then Benny On had a 4-foot putt
hmm
to extend the playoff and missed. So talk about two tournaments where missing
Yeah.
from 4 2 feet.
hmm
So, they are one of us, or one of me, I guess.
It also shows how difficult this can be because it's golf is such a mental game. So obviously these longer putts are definitely challenging, but at the same time, these 4 foot putts that everyone expects you to make can be equally as challenging because you get in your head about the putt. So I don't know. I mean, we're seeing it happen more. Oh, excuse me. Seeing it happen more regularly, but yeah, I mean, it's something that shouldn't be happening as frequently, but yeah, the players are one of us. Simple as that.
Yeah, it was, I don't think anyone bet Grayson Murray to win. I had a friend that had a Keegan Bradley outright ticket, and then I know Brian Kirshner had a Benny On um, ticket too. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, definitely not on your big on card, but it's a pretty big tournament
Uh,
for this guy. I mean
sure.
he's in
Yeah.
every signature event now. He's in all the majors, I think.
hmm
So um
A lot of money. A lot of
like
money.
it's pretty it really is. Like, I wouldn't know. I didn't really get to like kind of hear his press conferences after. Um, but I have a quote he said in his press conference that he thinks this is just the start of something really special. So, definitely interesting to see. Did you also see there's a video of Smiley Coffin? He was reporting out of a kayak in the ocean.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I did. The Hawaii
Yeah.
swing or whatever you want to call it with the two events there will always just be great television because I remember growing up, my dad would always have it on the TV and he would just watch it for hours and hours and just just stare at the ocean and the views and everything. So it's always a great thing to look at when you're from the East Coast and it gets dark at 4 p.m. You're like, ah, it's sunny, it's beautiful. Yeah.
It made me like when they were showing that of like Spieth and like in 20, I think it was 2017, like Spieth and Smiley were like during the like after their round or something, they like went in a kayak and like cameras got them like getting crashed by a wave, and I was
hmm
like, dude, like that was like 7 years ago. That feels like yesterday, and it's like
hmm
how much has transpired, and like they make a joke. I mean, people make jokes on Twitter, but I'm like,
Hmm.
Like, just where golf is now to where it was in 2017 is just mind blowing.
Of
But
course, it's crazy.
we'll 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 hopefully get stuff settled out in the next couple weeks. According to Webb Simpson, he said that hopefully in the next couple weeks they can come to some agreement. But we'll uh
Hmm.
we'll save that for the next pod. But the tour keeps chugging along. Now the tour goes to California for the California swing. Uh, we go to the American Express. So I'll give also a 60-second course preview of American Express. This is a 3-course rotation. They played the Stadium course, the Quinta, and the Nicklaus course. So they're all around like par 72, 7,000 yards. I would expect a putting contest here. Jon Rahm famously said that this course or setup as a tournament is a effing setup and a putting contest. So I don't think he's really wrong in what he said. It's a lot of, you know, shots from 100 yards and in, so driver
Hmm.
and wedge, and you have to make your putts. Which has kind of been the formula the last 2 weeks, especially at the Century. So I didn't really go into a course preview of all three, but essentially they rotate each day, and then they make a cut after round 3 and not round 2. So if that kind of adjusts your betting style or make the cut to miss the cut, that is the format. And then round 4 is they play at the Stadium course a second time. So I guess if you wanted to like kind of
Hmm.
handicap and lean one course, I guess leaning towards the Stadium course as the one since they'll be playing that twice. But we have some headliners, even as a non-signature event, so the purses aren't as big and the players aren't as committed to these tournaments. You have the likes of Sky Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Xander, JT, Tom Kim, Finau, Fowler, Salvatore. So there is some firepower to
Hmm.
this field. We saw Jon Rahm; he won the Amex last year, so we don't have our defending champ there. But thoughts on kind of anything, the 3-course rotation, the putting contests,
Hmm.
pretty big headline. What are your kind of thoughts to just start off this conversation?
Yeah, well, it's always a weird. These events are always weird where you play a course, a different course each day. Then the last round is a repeat of a course. It's just weird. I don't know how else to say it because it's like a 3-day marathon when you look at it because obviously in the setup, one course is easier than the other, one's harder than the other. The weather, if you get the bad weather on the hard, it's just weird. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just weird how they do it. It's just so different. So it's sometimes very difficult to follow because at some courses the TV coverage just isn't good because you're trying to spread 3 production
Yeah,
crews across 3 golf courses with 54 holes. Have fun. Like I don't know. I'm still a proponent of just play the same course 4 days in a row rather than 3 different. But here we are. I believe this is the first year that the American Express has a pro-am involved, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I don't know if you know anything about that.
uh, I think you're right. I mean, believe that you're right on that. If you're asking me to confirm that, 'cause I think Kisner might have said that on a podcast on Foreplay or the Smiley Show that I listened to about being pro am.
They do, yeah.
Obviously Pebble.
Um,
Obviously Pebble is obviously a pro am.
it's
Um,
a pro-am this year, yeah. Hmm. Yep, it's yeah. So each pro pairs up with an amateur. Each foursome has 2 pros, 2 amateurs. 50 pros will play in each course each day. They rotate, yada yada yada. Um, yeah. So pro am new part this year. All right, I guess it's happened in the past, but new addition in recent memory. So,
Yeah, if I guess going off that, if as like a hypothetical, or who do you want to be paired in a pro-am with? Like I guess like one of like a top guy. Give me a top guy name you'd want to be paired with, and kind of like a sleeper, not a big name
oh
that you would want to
jeez.
be paired with in a pro-am.
Well, the top guy would clearly be Tony Romo, because I think that'd just be awesome to play with. And
Well,
he's
I
also
meant
good at
pro.
golf. Oh, damn.
You're not the pro. You're the amateur.
I mean, I could be.
Also,
Um,
Romo?
Jeez.
Really?
I don't know. I think Romo would be fun to play with. I don't know why. Okay, well,
I
let's.
mean,
That didn't happen.
we have different football,
Um,
affiliations, but yeah.
maybe Fitzgerald. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Um, Top pro. Um, I feel like um Tony Finau would be a lot of fun to be paired with. Um, yeah, I'll go with Tony Finau. I think that just from a pure talking standpoint, that'd just be a really cool conversation to walk around and play golf with him. So I'll go with as like the uh, top tier professional. And then you know who my lower tier is. I mean, it's an absolute layup. And I'm surprised you didn't add this to our outline for today that we have the breaking news that my favorite golfer of all time, Daniel Berger, will be playing in this event. So Daniel Berger and I will play golf at some point in this lifetime. I have been a fan of his since 2013, so 11 years strong. Um, yeah, excited to have him back. He's been out since June of 2022, so didn't know what happened to him, about 18 months. So happy to have him back. If he ever makes it down to TPC Southwind in Memphis, bet him to win the event because he'll probably win it. That's where he has three of his PGA Tour victories because he won it 3 years in a row. Yeah,
You could add it to the news.
I
But
could have.
I,
I could have.
yeah, I forgot to put it in because I remember I did text you. We could tell that story. Um, but yeah, no, he'll be good. I think an out of the box top player would be like a Tom Kim.
Uh-huh.
He's younger than us. I feel like he would bring that youthful energy to him. I think a sleeper would be like a Jason Day. Experienced, great guy. I feel like he has a lot of stories that really haven't been told, and especially now with his new apparel, maybe you could get some free gear to look like him out there.
Uh-huh.
So those would be my two. But I wanted to kind of not dive in, but give a little preview to at the stadium course. The sixth hole is a 230-yard par three, surrounded by water everywhere, and it is historically the most difficult hole played on the PJ Tour
Mhm.
each year. So I guess you kind of want to think about it like the par three at TBC Sawgrass, which is like a wedge or maybe at most like 150 yards, but this par three is 230 yards with water everywhere. Uh,
Mhm.
Very daunting. It could probably swings a lot of like the front nine scores. So definitely not a birdie hole. I feel like you just want to put it on there safe and two putt or get up and down and get out of there. Uh,
Mhm.
and when I was writing this, I was like, if you gave me like 10 shots, I think I would hit the green like twice from 230.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't be playing from 230. Probably, if I had to guess, maybe like 180. If I had to guess
Mhm.
of my caliber, but still, even 180 yards, I'm probably hitting it.
Mhm.
I guess what would be whatever tour average is definitely below that, but probably like maybe 2 times out of 10. Especially with
Mhm.
everything around you, the water, mentally it's gonna beat me up. Um,
Mhm.
Personally. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So
let's let's get into some players. Um, who is some who's a guy that you want to highlight as you don't have to say that he's gonna win, but who's a guy that you think that fits his course right and kind of want to deep dive into?
yeah, so I guess I'll go with a winner and a sleeper here, or someone who I think plays well, and then someone who is under the radar who I think plays well. Um, and the first one, more of a winner or a top tier player that I'd go with is Tom Kim, coming off of a or tied sixth finish here last year. Really, really good approach player. One of the things you have to highlight this week is approach, which is driver, wedge, putt. So that's kind of the recipe here. He last season finished 10th in approach for the year. Not a bad putter, finished 73rd, but regardless, targeting a very solid approach game, and he's a very good driver with a golf ball. So that makes it even better. As tee to green was 27th. So yeah, I think he's definitely a player to look out for of the the top tier players. And then more of a sleeper to look at would be Adam Shank. Um, it's a little bit of a weird one because he has really bad course history here, but this is one of those events where course history I don't think matters an intense amount because you play so many different courses. You're spanning three different courses across 3 different days, but we're also talking about someone who finished in the top 50 in strokes gained approach and strokes gained putting last year. Came off a tied 29th at the Century. Not a bad result there. But yeah, great putter of the golf ball, great approach player, decent off the tee. The metrics and stats are there, but the course history has just been brutal. So yeah, hopefully this is the year that he turns it around because the course fit seems pretty good outside of the history.
Yeah, I mean, he actually is someone I actually wrote down as a guy
Mm-hmm.
to potentially talk about in my Twitter threads. He he excels in his irons, as you said, from what I remember. Um, I think he's a guy who, like, yeah, his course history isn't great, but he is probably playing the best golf of his career
Mm-hmm.
right now. I believe his putter is like the one thing that I don't know if you said that, but like I was looking up his stat profile and it's like a lot of red in like the putter. So
Yeah.
I believe Poana greens are what's out west, I believe, if I
Mm-hmm. That sounds
am
right.
not mistaken. So I think, you know, I guess the nerd in me can filter out how he does on Poana greens, but I definitely think he's a sleeper and might be on my betting card this week. But
Mm-hmm.
I have a stat from Rick Rungood. He said in one of his newsletters that um, there's only 4 events on the PGA Tour schedule where the winners' average odds have been 100 to 1 or greater, and the American Express is the fourth longest, with an average winner coming at 129 to 1. So
Okay. Wow.
if there's any tournament just to throw like a
Darts.
dollar on
Yeah.
like 10 different guys, yeah. So that's why when I like started off saying like it's kind of hard, like obviously I want to spotlight someone that is of elite tier, um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like that's why I was like kind of hard to say like who's actually going to win this if these odds are that way, and it's because like if you have these putting contests, it's like everyone's in it, like the whole field's in it. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like if you play like a mere field like villages, like you need to be a lead driver, and that kind of cancels out like 2/3 of the entire field. So it's definitely harder like to handicap. Uh, I will. So I guess my player spotlight, a guy that I think will at least contend is Patrick Cantlay, Ethan's favorite golfer on tour. I think if there's really any golfer that's really due, Cantlay hasn't won since 2022 BMW Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's one of those guys that really has no weakness in his game. He leads the tour with gaining 1.8 strokes per round on deemed easy scoring conditions, and he has three top 10 finishes here. So he'll be probably Scheffler's in his field, but I assume that Cantlay will probably be right behind them on the odds board. Saying that stat about the long shots winning here, I'm not sure if I'll actually bet him or not. I mean, we saw Jon Rahm win, who I assume was the heavy favorite here
Hmm.
um, last year, so it doesn't have to be obviously a long shot, but that's kind of where everything's going. I'm not sure I'll get to him, but I just think he's like Cantlay's due. He went to college out there in California. He'll probably be very popular at Pebble in 2 to 3 weeks' time. So I think he's someone that talk about a narrative side of things. I think he should do um, a sleeper. So I talked about a little bit last week on Twitter. He was very popular as an outright, but that's JT Poston.
Hmm.
T5 at the Century, 6 at the Stony last week. Again, someone that plays well on easy courses, gaining 1.2 strokes per round on easy courses. He's gained strokes putting in his last 4 tournaments. So again, putting contest, he is a elite putter, and I kind of look for Poston to be in the mix again on Sunday. One of his things I think has hurt him is that he kind of starts off pretty slow. He finished. I mean, he kind of had like a backdoor 6th place finish after shooting, I think 9 under yesterday. So, if you're gonna win a tournament where you have to shoot 25 to 28 like under, like you can't shoot like a 3 over or no, not 3 over, like a 3 under like the first day. You just can't.
Hmm.
Um, so kind of lastly I have on here is just to quickly dive into Justin Thomas. This might be a weekly thing. Might be, people might be tired of it, but JT is
Uh-huh.
back. We haven't seen him since the Hero. Something that's interesting to me is that he's only played here in 2014 and 2015. So
Hmm.
many people will ask, are you going to bet JT? If he hasn't played here since 2014, 2015, then that just screams that he doesn't think this course or this tournament fits him over the
Hmm.
last 10 years. He missed a cut here in his first outing and then finished 7th. He's actually
Hmm.
has lost strokes from approach and putting in both of those tournaments. And that was like prime JT when he was one
Hmm.
of the best approach players and he lost strokes. So um it's hard to handicap him at this point. I kind of want to wait and see, but
Hmm.
that's kind of to give that quick JT kind of a weekly little deep dive into him. Uh, do you have any thoughts on
Yeah.
JT or
No, I guess there's one last thing I want to say before we wrap up. Um, if you've already seen the price, then this segment is ruined. But what do you think Daniel Berger is priced at this week?
like 150
Okay, so he
to
is
one?
equal odds to Chris Kirk at 45 to 1. So, um, the guy hasn't played in more than 18 months, and he has 45 to 1 odds. So, don't recommend it this week. That's like the worst number I've ever seen.
If you want to bet Burger, you can take him at the Josh Siegel Sportsbook and give me your $5 instead of giving your charity to DraftKings or FanDuel.
Will you give me 250 to 1?
No,
Oh, I'd do it at that number. 45 to 1?
I don't know how they mark that number because like Will Zalatoris, who is coming off a known back injury, shot he missed a cut. He was like 6 over or something. At I just
Let's give
don't.
some comparable numbers here. Um, Tony Finau is
Putt's Cook's a
35 to
good
1.
course
Sam
though.
Burns. Yeah. Tony Finau's 35 to
Burns is
1.
a good
Sam
putter.
Burns is 35 to 1. Let's look into
Burns it
the
actually isn't.
Akshay Bhatia is 55. Siwoo Kim's 50. Shane Lowry's 45. If you want to go down even
Lowry's
more,
not bad.
Wheels Zalatoris
He's a good
80
wedge
to
player.
1. Just what? It's I
So
don't
how?
I don't know how they came up with that.
So do you know what happened to Daniel Berger?
Yes, so he had a back
Did
injury.
any?
Very good putter of the golf ball and very good iron player. So I mean the metrics fit. It's just how can you judge competitive golf when he's been hanging out for the past 20 months, and especially how can you judge it at that number? I mean that's it's just purely basing off of this is coming off of the guy who played in the Ryder Cup and then didn't really do anything since the 2020 2021 Ryder Cup. So it's a weird
Is that
one.
the last time we've seen him?
No. He played up until geez, his last start was in June 2022. That was his last start. So 18 months since then. So no, I'm just talking about the last like notable memory that he had was at the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, no, I just don't. I know it's 18 months. But I'm like the last notable time it was that. I mean, 45 to 1. People might be
Yeah,
just bet. I
not
mean,
great.
I
They might bet him for namesake if they remember who he is.
this is gonna be such a good. This is gonna be such a great clip of me being like, watch him win. I
He's
actually
gonna
hope
win.
he wins.
He's gonna win. I hope he
So then
wins too.
my take of me not giving you 250 to 1 odds is a genius play in the end.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like let's save the Daniel Berger story for when he wins again. Or maybe Daniel Berger's next, like, if he gets like a top 10 in a tournament in next month, then the Berger story will come out. Because I think there's still, that story hasn't closed yet. There's, something has to be done to make it more official. But I kind of just want to expose myself to wrap it up. I've been posting some
Yeah.
Twitter threads of Monday stock up, stock down, Tuesday sleepers, and Wednesday love hate. I was on the record of saying that I hated Keegan Bradley, and he almost won. So it's kind of what happens when you're in this universe that we're in, kind of dissecting players, saying who you like and dislike. So sorry to anyone out there who actually didn't bet Keegan or anything this week because of my judgment. However, I took Kuchar over Keegan in a matchup which failed miserably. But I
Yeah.
did live bet him in a matchup because I posted this I think after round 2, but him and Taylor Montgomery were like um had the most birdie lugs inside 10 feet, and Keegan was like 3 back going to round 3, so it was just like the writing was on the wall for him to make a turn. He actually kind of blew it. He tried to birdie the
Hmm.
last hole, par 5, and he put it into the rough, laid up, put one to 20 feet and missed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought maybe a segment to expose Josh of his wrongdoings each week is a pretty fun segment. And
I like this segment.
I'm here for it.
Let's do it every week.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
yeah.
it too.
I
I
mean,
like it too.
hopefully there's more rights and wrongs. Um,
Well,
but it's just these are just hard tournaments to handicap. It's like the whole
mhm.
field's in it. I guess we're not getting any easier with Pebbles coming up. Yeah, they play Torrey next
Yep.
week, so Torrey at least is probably better. That was my first outright last year with Max Homa.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, we're approaching the Max Homa train of when everyone talks about him in California. So um, he'll be popular, but that's all I got. Any last words?
Daniel Berger. That's it. That's it. He'll win this week, or well, he'll post a top 10 in 2024. There's my outstanding prediction. That's a terrible one,
Okay,
but
so let's do a friendly wager here.
oh gosh.
Uh, what do you? I'm trying to think like make the cut, miss the cut. Do you want to what side of or like a finishing position? Like do you want like what's you
um,
give me let's figure out like a fair line that you would take him
he'll make the cut. He'll
to.
make the cut. That's the only thing I'll go is he'll make the cut. So I don't know. You can do with what you wish with that. Even money that he makes or misses the cut.
Well, I'm losing something. Well, it's like it's three.
No,
There's a three quarter. What?
no, you're not losing anything.
Yeah, I am. The guy's
So
45 to 1.
is he? Yeah,
He's
he
not
hasn't played in
Vidilin.
18 months. He hasn't played in 18 months.
What's his DraftKings price? I mean, yes,
Oh
I
no,
think he's
that's
gonna miss a
crazy.
cut. So we'll do. I'll take that for even money. Um,
Okay.
but if he's 45 to 1, yeah. Let me just look at his DraftKings price. If it's
It's probably in the
on.
8,000s.
Nah, I don't see it. Rick
I don't
Rungo
think the
hasn't
pricing's out yet.
updated. Yeah, probably not. All right. Well, next time you'll see us next Monday morning or Monday afternoon. I'll be up on Ethan because Dan Berger won't make the cut. So
Yeah, keep dreaming there because I'll be up on you. So yeah, thank you everyone
sounds
for
good.
listening, and this is the year of Daniel Berger. Nothing more.